Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release, giving you an unhealthy amount of video games. Doctor recommends you don't play Chronologically Gaming for more than 2 hours. Let's go to the middle of November, beginning of November, anywhere in November, because these games were released sometime in November 1982. We were last getting high on an acid trip playing Alien Garden. Let's see what our next game is. It's Alien Taxi for the TRS-80, the original TRS-80. This one, I only have a screenshot, maybe two, and that's it. Let's pop in and play Alien Taxi. This is by John R. Olson Jr. Way to go, John. Published by Fantastic Software and sometime in November 1982. So this is our 139th game we've played for the Model 1 or Model 3 TRS-80. And I believe this one is... What is this one? This one is Taxi. Of course. Let's get into it. This is the second game we've seen by Fantastic Software. The other one they did just recently we saw was Panic. P-A-N-I-K. So here you go, Alien Taxi. Let's see what you got, John. We can enter for instructions. Yes, give me instructions. We have to land at the 12 taxi stands. Oh, it really is a taxi. Return your fares to the resort hotel. We have points to pick up for delivery, bonus taxi. No way. It's like Crazy Taxi from 1982, except, you know, it's Alien Taxi. We use up arrow keys, lateral thrusters. Oh, and joystick compatible. I love to hear that. I believe this is the first or one of the first games by John R. Olson Jr. All right, so whether you do one or two players, you're going to be taking turns. It is very much like the arcade. Let's push one and then go in. I want to see this joystick work. There it is. It does work. So in the bottom display lets us know what our fuel is like, what speed we're at. Right above my shoulder, you can see our vertical speed is showing, and if I move to the left or right, yeah, there we go, it displays that speed. What? Okay, so we started off on a landing pad, we take off from the landing pad, and now we're supposed to pick up fares of other people. I'm already getting vibes of Lunar Lander. It's feeling the exact same way, but if you run into anything, and I mean, oh, I made it. Oh gosh, I can't believe I landed it. No way, here come the aliens. They get on the taxi. All right, let's go pick up someone else. I think we'll just land at the other one, right? It doesn't say where they need to go. I'm supposed to know, I guess. Nice and slow. And we pick up another. So yeah, it's Lunar Lander, but you're mixing it with a taxi. How bizarre is that? We do have limited fuel, so we need to play wisely, use our thrusters wisely, and not run into mountains or you blow up. You refuel every time you revisit the resort hotel, which I think that's on the far left side over here. You have to land at the 12 taxi stands, have a vertical speed of less than 3 to safely land, and it kind of lets us know whenever we're using the right thrusters. Look at that. But cool premise. So it's not just Lunar Lander. The other thing that's interesting is, if I don't blow up, all the other Lunar Landers games we played have taken place on one screen, like the straight-up Lunar Lander games. Easy, too much. But this one, look, it scrolls. What? So if I want to... Oh, I got to slow myself down a lot. Too much. And you blow up. You really got to be right pretty much on the speed of 3, vertical speed of 3, to land this one. But I love the premise. I already enjoy Lunar Lander, so if you enjoy it, then this would be your cup of tea. But you have to pick up 12 different people, making sure you're really, really slow. Nope, that's not the pad. Go move over. Nice and easy now. So the difficulty in the control is going to come from just the same we've seen from Lunar Lander. The ones that... This one's a bit touchy, though. You can see we already had game over. Yeah, I really like the mix of genres, though. All right, we can put our initials in. Very nice. We only made 700 points. It seems so low. Cool concept, though. So yeah, we consider this like Lunar Lander style games or vehicle simulation games. great fun to be had. I really want to. The impressive part is the way that this is scrolling across. Oop, don't run into the mountain. Nice and easy now. Reminds me of a game we played on the ZX81 called Merchant of Venus, which was the main game. The primary game was more like a space trading simulation game. But to move from port to port, you did this. You like flew around, and it scrolled. So Lunar Lander wasn't the main game. So I guess that one would be the other one we played that lets you scroll while you're moving. But most of them, like Jupiter Lander, we've seen, they all take place on one screen. No way I'm going to make it down there. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Oh man, that's tough. Yeah, so every one of the platforms, you're going to have a lot of practice to go into it, because you notice the hotel all the way on the left, to make all 12 platforms. To tell you the truth, right now, I would want to challenge myself to try to see if I can do it. You'd play it over and over again, so cool idea. It is one of the more touchy ones when it comes to Lunar Lander games. The Merchant of Venus, the other one I mentioned, that one's even more hard to land. The controls are even harder because it's not using joystick. That was using the keyboard only on the ZX81. So this one is the 23rd game we played that has anything to do with Lunar Lander, whether it's a variant of Lunar Lander or contains Lunar Lander. Jupiter Lander is one out there, Moon Lander on the Coco, Galactic Commander on the BBC Micro, Thorolian Tunnels, and then Xeno 2 on the Commodore VIC-20 also had a Lunar Lander style game. Those are some of the pretty good ones that are out there. So I really like it, though. Cool idea. The premise is really nice. Yeah, and I believe if you heard Beethoven in the background, yeah, someone heard the public domain that's available. That's pretty cool. All right. There's our taste of Alien Taxi. I actually like it. Even though the controls were a bit touchy, there's other Lunar Lander style games that have fine-tuned controls, especially the ones that zoom in when you get close to landing. This one didn't have that, but it really didn't need it. It's just the idea of mixing Taxi together, right? Yeah, right? Oh yeah, Curtis is already going 3 to 3.5. Lots of averages, just slightly above average for some people, 3.5 stars for all the games you could play on all home computers. So I'd actually say this one, the premise, I would say 3.5 stars. But because of the simplicity, no extra game modes, nothing else for it, and the Lunar Lander gameplay itself isn't as fine-tuned as the others, I'll bring it back down to 3. So fairly average for all the games you could play on home computers, even though we haven't seen anything like this, like a Taxi for a video game. I believe it's the first or second game that has anything to do with a taxi in a video game that we've seen here on the show. So still a fresh idea, and I love it. Bring it on. All right. Yeah, there we go. People in the chat, I see Brian's going back and forth with their ratings. I know sometimes I do the same. If you tune in on the show, we'll rate games when we play them. Then when I play them some more after the live show, I realize, oh, I shouldn't have rated it that, and then I go on and rate it something else. All right, so let's see what our next game is. We're next going to Japan to play Asteroid Belt on the Sharp MZ line of home computers. From one obscure game to the next. When we play games that are released at some time in November 1982, we're just taking this in alphabetical order, but you can understand if you can't find the release date, that's why they're here. This one just has a few screenshots too. Let's pop in Asteroid Belt and play Solo Software at some time in November 1982. Not to be confused with Asteroid Belt for the BBC Micro by Computer Concepts in 1983, which we haven't going to see yet. This one I'm going to load a save state to. I do not want to wait for BASIC to load. I do not want to wait for the game to load. And just go. Yes, load that data. After you load all the other things, then you have to load again. There it is, Asteroid Belt. Solo Software. Still around 6 or 7 titles we've seen by them, and it's all been here, bouncing between. You may have seen this in the United Kingdom as well. So it's the Sharp MZ was originated in Japan, but then it went to Europe too, and maybe North America. I'm not too sure on that one. Oh, right at the top, you bet it is. Yeah. All right, this is keyboard controlled only. We can do F2 for instructions. Is it in English? I hope so. Let's see. Your task is to land the rescue ship on each of the 3... Yep, it is Lunar Rescue. Rescued men have to return to the mothership. On the way, you have to be careful. Use the cursor keys to control. Number of men on the base. Yeah, we got it. Any key to start the game? All right, and that's it. Ready? This is Asteroid Belt. I'm using cursor keys only to move the little UFO around. The Asteroid Belt is completely motionless. None of the asteroids are moving. And this kind of defeats the... This is like a different take on Lunar Rescue, because Lunar Rescue, you had combined elements of a fixed shooter and lunar lander. This has none of that. You don't need to use a lunar lander, but you rescue someone, you bring them back up, and then they go in the UFO. This is a completely different game. It is supposed to take an homage to Lunar Rescue, but I mean, come on, this isn't Lunar Rescue. You just have to make your way around without touching any of the pixels. That's all it is. No, it's not broken. This is it. This is the game. Because there's not a shot. It's just about dodging things. It reminds me of another game we played for MS-DOS that I think Meteor Mission or Meteor Run, that you just had to move around the screen dodging things. So very simplistic gameplay with nothing moving and everything static. It just seems crazy. Yes, definitely basic. I had to load the custom basic that Solo Software designed for the Sharp MZ home computer and then the game. Oh, wait, no. Level 1 was static. Here it is. It's moving. I can't believe it. We actually got some movement here. So, yeah, this is Lunar Rescue. This is the 8th game we played that is a variant or even the same game in the arcades for Lunar Rescue. Yeah, but this one doesn't really incorporate the lunar lander part, or at least the first stage didn't. Wow. Okay, so yeah, they added the movement. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't have physics still. Yeah, still nothing, because all I have is cursor keys. So now it's turned almost like into a space race variant, because this one has the asteroids moving now. I don't know if I can do it. What? You only rescue one at a time? You can only rescue one at a time and then make it to the other side. So, look at that, 1 pixel, and you die. Gosh. Yeah, the difficulty curve on this one is just way too hard. Gosh. Okay, 1 person died. Let's see if we can actually save somebody. But don't let 1 pixel hit your ship. Gosh. Well, that one should have been easy to avoid. But you have to see that it's it's also cursor controlled only. Do we get another? We get more dirge of death to hear. And if we restart, does it go back to where it was before? I believe it does. Yeah, so it goes to the first stage. So at least level 1. Well, now I want to see what the other levels are. I thought this was the whole game. What's the next level after? But I don't think we can do it. It would take a little too long to do the entire level 2. But you can see... that's so dumb. Losing lives when it's totally... yeah, right? Yeah, Space Race is the one we saw way back in the 70s. Oh, see? Lives are going down. They keep track of our lives at the top with UFOs, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it. Can we go... Oh, it wraps. That's good to know. I guess it wraps because the asteroids do that. So still a very simple premise, but knowing that they're not using the physics that Lunar Rescue uses, and they're not also using the lunar lander variant. So it's still very simplistic, even with the asteroids moving. Darn. Yep. Well, cool. I want to see more, but it's still not as impressive as the other games we've seen, especially the other Lunar Rescue games that are out there. There you go. So there's our taste of Asteroid Belt on the Sharp MZ line of home computers in Japan. So I would say this one is still worse than Lunar Rescue that we played on the ZX81 and Space Rescue for the ZX Spectrum. But it's not that bad. So in other words, it's not the worst of the games we played that are like this or similar to this. Looking over the chat, I see some 2.5s, yes, subpar, lower than average for all the games you can play across computer. Brad, 3 for the difficulty. I love it. Yeah, mostly 2. I'm actually going to concede more with the chat this time. I'll say 2 as well. It's bad, or it's in the bad range, but the best of the bad for all the games you can play on all home computers right now. All right. After that, let's see what our next game is after this commercial break. It's that magical time of year. Oh, it's coming. gosh. He's here. And there it is. Oh, it's so magical. Notice they don't have the Sears version. That's right, put it in, E.T.
Only from Atari.
And change the world.
Made especially for systems from Atari. The video game that lets you help E.T. get home.
Don't get too excited yet, kids.
For Christmas. Happy holidays from Atari.
Oh man, it's so magical. Yes, it's time. Well, we're getting close to that season here. Since it's November, you know the commercials are starting to fly. This is going to be when we play all the video games at sometime in November 1982, and that means the holiday season is already upon us, or getting close to upon us. And that is the cover of what we're doing next. We're reading the latest issue of Atari Age. This is the November and December issue, and you can tell by the front, they're really going to be marketing this. And we broke the rules a little bit here on Chronologically Gaming. We actually already played this game. The reason why is because we went out of order because of Howard Scott Warshaw. He was here on the show, and we've already played this magical game of E.T. And truth be told, it is not as terrible as the media would have you believe, but always remember to play it yourself, and then you would know for sure. All right, so here we go. Atari Age. The front is all about the licensed games. We got Raiders of the Lost Ark and E.T. on the front, but I mean, classic. This is like the most classic front of the magazine for Atari Age that we've seen so far. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm sure everyone in the chat will have what they want to say. All right, let's crack it open and get ready for the holiday season. With the first big one, I mean, look at there. E.T.'s plastered giant ad. You even got see, they're tying into the movie craze too. And I mentioned this when I was talking about Howard Scott Warshaw being on the show. He essentially invented the video game, the licensed video game letdown, which means that before this time, we had licensed video games, but he was the first one to make a video game that people realized, oh, I'm not going to feel the same I did with the movie. The game is not going to be anywhere near as close as it could be. And so since then, we've now become more desensitized to that. We play more video games that are licensed games where we know that the game is not going to be like the movie whatsoever. It can't even compare to the movie. Well, at least, leading up to a certain point. As of right now, we should be well aware that video games are not going to make you feel the same as the movie did. But they're going to give us lots and lots of licensed games. Oh man, there it is. And then over here on the right side, this is pretty cool. This is an article about the Atari VCS controller. They're going to open it up and show you how it works. Isn't that awesome? Oh, and the paddle controller too. Nice. Both of these, the Atari VCS joystick is the digital one, and then the analog paddle control. So nice. I like when they do this. Give you a behind the scenes of how it is. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, I'm sure, Mark. It's going to take the world by storm. All right, let's keep flipping on to the next page. Over here, we got some readers bringing in their high score secrets. Someone made a maze for Pac-Man, which is kind of nice. The Atari Age magazine in itself is very much almost like a fan club magazine. It's a smaller magazine, not a large read. Definitely not something like the other computer magazines that we check out. But this one is less pages. There's not a ton of content, and they don't really do like covering video game reviews. It's more of hyping people up for what's out there. Oh, no way. That's a way to go, Brad. Changing it to micro switches. All right, so they got a comic down at the bottom. Oh, someone pulled the plug. Oh, you hate it when that happens. Do you have any games that a father can win? Yep, they're out there. You'll get them. And then over on this side, there it is, E.T. Atari's bringing E.T. to your home. Find the 3 pieces of the interplanetary telephone. And yeah, Reese's Pieces are in the game too. Sweet. I love it. And when we played it ourselves, after reading the manual, I explained my first experience with E.T. was more of confusion, but at the same time, I was getting these games as yard sale or garage sale releases, so there was no manuals for most of these the games on the Atari, and so E.T. is a big one. Whenever I first played it, I thought it was a junk too. But then after seeing all the games we've seen up to this point, playing everything we've seen on the show, and then reading the manual, actually, I enjoy it. It's all right. As usual, when we have guests on the show, Howard Scott Warshaw rated the games himself, and oh yeah, he gave them really high ratings. So check out that episode if you get a chance. And then over here we have Raiders of the Lost Ark, the other big one that we've also seen too. Put this into your cartridge, put this cartridge in your VCS, turn it on, and listen. It's the theme song from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes, it is. The programmer explained to us his goal was to create a total video game world. And he did, yes. So cool. So if you're not as familiar with that one, this is the other one we checked out when Howard Scott Warshaw was on. Another one that he did, a monumental game still. This one is kind of taking what the adventure game that Warren Robinette did and then turning it into something even bigger, more puzzle focused, but it still had the action feel. You know, you're able to be Indiana Jones, but it incorporated a lot of things that we hadn't seen on consoles, like the inventory system that you can switch between on the fly with the other joystick. We'd seen something similar, or an inventory system on games like Dragon Stomper or on Riddle of the Sphinx, things like that. But this game still is one of the best ones you could play on any home console right now. Yeah, it's up there with like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons too. It's pretty cool. All right, and then we also have, oh, look at this. Real Sports Football. We haven't seen that one yet. This one might show up and maybe released in November 1982, because I don't think this was Atari. Maybe it was. I don't think so. Yeah, because the Real Sports Football one. Let's see. This is going to be Atari 5200, I believe. Yeah, that's what the screenshot looks like too. Oh, you did? Yeah. I'll put a link down below. Check out the Howard Scott Warshaw episode. He is an excellent guest. Very informative, has lots of information that I was trying to get more out of him from interviews he didn't do, and he automatically did. He started to answer and give tips in the game, and it was just a blast playing both games with Howard Scott Warshaw. And at one point, he's wanting to help, like, oh, don't do this, and explaining how to get out of the pit with E.T. It blew my mind. It was such a great experience. All right, so here we go. Down at the bottom, what is this? Did everyone know there's an official Atari handshake? It's revealed right here. I should have done that with Howard Scott Warshaw when he was on. Maybe he knows about it, or maybe it's just a fan club thing. All right, too cool. All right, let's keep going. What do we got next? Oh, how they made Atari Force, DC Comics. So Atari Force was the comic book that was included in a few games that Atari did on the Atari 2600. Defender, Berserk, Star Raiders, and Phoenix. And then this wasn't the only comic book. Yar's Revenge had its own comic book that was included. And then I believe Centipede did too, had a comic inside. So cool. All right, so yeah, this is how they, I guess, showing how they make comic book. I mean, that's what DC does. It's their thing. Yeah. Love it, though. Awesome. Now, let's keep going. I know they should do that. Yeah, if you can check, because there's more issues than what they did for Atari Force. All right, what's the sneak peeks? What's coming? Early 1983, we're going to have the club program for club members only. You can be on the Atari club member. A little too late, maybe? Hopefully you're on the club right now before, stuff hits the fan. Get ready to spring in action with Real Sports. There it is. Real Sports Soccer, basketball, tennis. At this point, we've already seen volleyball. Baseball wasn't so hot on the Atari 2600. Volleyball on the 2600, though, was very, very good. Definitely check that one out. And then we have CBS television series. What CBS television series? It doesn't say. Wait, it's fancy high-speed car driving. Is it Knight Rider? Does anyone know? Maybe it was some licensed game for Knight Rider that fell through. That's an interesting one. And then down here in the bottom left, oh, very nice. They actually talk about arcade games here. That's great. Gravatar. So Gravatar was a really well-done arcade game. One of the best right now in the arcades. Color vector graphics. It incorporated something that is going to be very popular later, like cave or thrust flyers, for the very first time. And it went from game modes too. So this went from this top-down overview of seeing all the planets, and you could take your ship fly into the planet, and then now you're on a side view flying around. It is awesome. It's like an open world style game that no one's really done to that. So yeah, Gravatar, it is very difficult, Jeremiah, definitely, but very rewarding. If you get a chance to play this one, go for it, especially in a place where you don't have to put tons and tons of quarters in, but I'm sure it pumped out a lot back then. Yeah, very well done. And there it is, Raiders, starring you. And this is the ad we saw whenever we checked out Raiders of the Lost Ark originally. So whenever we played Raiders and E.T. in the same episode, I actually started giving you a heads up of the background, and we went through the artwork and the box, and we did a whole episode of both games without even playing the game. And then the next day was when Howard Scott Warshaw came on, and we played both the games with him. It was not just an interview, it was playing while he was there. Sometimes showing me how to play the game, showing me tips and tricks. I even revealed some secrets in the games that I wasn't aware of. So it was a lot of fun. Oh, so fun. All right, there we go. Let's keep going. No way. Steven Spielberg, look at that. I mean, he looks so young. Doesn't even have the beard in that shot. How can you be Steven Spielberg? So he's really big right now, obviously. After Jaws came out, and then we got E.T., and then Raiders of the Lost Ark. Look at that. And it's showing you how to be Steven Spielberg. This is before he did The Goonies, I believe. Yeah. So you can see this is a background on Steven Spielberg. Really, really cool stuff. And also ties into the big video games starting with licensed games now. They're showing you, hey, you like these movies. These are good movies. We're going to make games out of these movies. It's crazy. Oh, that's right. In Close Encounters. Yeah, that too. Oh, and here's the next big one. The Atari 5200. Yes, it is out. We've played the launch titles for the Atari 5200. And we did have another special guest on the show, John D'Elia of RetroWare TV, came on and played a few of the games that were at launch for the Atari 5200. And there they are. Galaxian. Missile Command we haven't seen yet, but we will be seeing soon. Some places it was pushed even further to get that one. But Space Invaders, yes. Star Raiders we have. I haven't seen Soccer yet. Pac-Man we have. And there it is. Available in December is Defender and Football. At least that's what they say here. I don't know if that's totally true. A lot of these releases, they were delayed. They had changes for when they were released. It was all over the place. And look at this. We have a TV tray for E.T. See, this is just merchandising. How do you make the real money? Merchandising. Over here on the right side is a contest. There's 6 video games shown on the boxes below. They don't look like any of the video games you've seen. Well, it's a contest. So you have to guess the game. So I think this will be fun. So number 1, I'm going to guess that's Defender. What is that? Is that a... Oh, it's a Fender, yeah, on a bicycle. So it's Defender. And then this one is House Run, Haunted House, Houseman, Home Man. I'm not sure about that one. Nightclub is the third one. There we go. Yeah, get in on the chat. So this is pretty cool. VDO ball. What is that? VDO. Oh, home run. That makes sense. Yeah, home run. And are they only Atari games? It's got to be, right? Yeah. Okay, they're breaking down easy ones. There's Nightclub that's there. Oh, Night Driver. Yeah, that makes sense. Not Nightclub. And then VDO ball. And then over here we got, yeah, Video Pinball. Yeah, there it is, the pin. I can see it now. That's as close as I can zoom in, though. And then Love Comb. No, Hair L Comb. Oh, number 5 is Stumpin' Me. That one's a little bit trickier to do. Cool idea, though. Look at the prizes. We got Atari 5200 Advanced System, and then we have, digital watch, and 4th prize is going to be 200 people, official Atari Frisbee. But if you were first prize, you get the brand new Atari 5200. That's pretty cool. Hair Elcombe. Elcombe. I'm thinking of a video game developer, not a video game, though. And then down here at the bottom is you. Yeah, right. That would be nice. And then we have you. Oh, yeah. 5 and 6 are stumping me. I'm not sure on those. Anybody read ahead? It looks like, do we have any solutions? Oh, okay. You can get the solutions, but they don't have them in the magazine. Yeah, because it's a contest. You're supposed to guess what they are. Love the idea, though. Cool. Let's keep flipping on. And then we got more merchandising. Yes, look at that. Oh, only on the Atari Club. Oh, yeah, maybe it is on your face. That's a clue. That's possible. Storing your games. And we have the game book. Awesome. Cartridges there. They're piled up. Very nice. And then this one's a big one. Someone brought this to my attention for game releases. This is the year in review of 1982 with Atari, and it shows some of the games with their releases here. You can see they started with Super Breakout in January, Haunted House, Pac-Man, Yar's Revenge. This has been very helpful for me to help pin down the releases this year, 1982, at least for a few of them. Oh, there it is, Real Sports Football. Yeah, it's going to be released December, so I think we're going to see that one the beginning of December 1982. But there it is, Raiders, and then E.T. in December. Yep, so we're pretty much on track with what they have here. Yeah, all these games, and we've seen them all. Even Math Grand Prix. We didn't play much of that one. All right, let's keep going. And then over here we got Real Sports Football, not just for kicks. Sweet. Yeah, and there's just the ad for the game itself. We got some, the big one that's going to be going up against is the Bally Astrocade Football. That's one of the best right now. And then we have some prices. Look at these slashed. Uh-oh, they're already slashing prices of cartridges. I think we're still a little too early. The scare is when it happens when the CFO reveals to Atari in December, I believe. December 10th, I believe, is the date when the CFO realized we're in deep trouble now. So I don't think it's aware right at this point. Don't worry, Jeremiah, I did too. And I was an adult as well. All right, there it is. That is Atari Age, the November-December issue, letting us know what is the hottest, newest, coolest things that are happening right now in the world of Atari. Just nobody go back in time and tell them the secret of what's really about to happen. We all know what's about to happen. All right, now we got to put our video game playing and video game reading on pause. Thanks so much for joining me, checking out everything and all video games and all systems all over the world, or as many as we can get our hands on. We're going to play it all. And especially having fun next year in 1983 when everything just goes south, apparently. Well, next time on Chronologically Gaming, we have another new space game in the arcade. After all the space games, I thought they'd be done by now. And we got more games for the TRS-80 color computer. That's it for today, and like I always say, it's already November 1982, and I don't want any more licensed games. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.